the air mounted on. They just have a quarter 20 thread on them. So anything you can put on a quarter 20 thread, you can mount it to. So I have the DIY mount that I did that's based off Caleb Heights, video shooter, his video. That's what I use to mount my stuff, and that's what we use. Or you can overspend and buy the ones that come directly from Elgato on their website. They're $79 or $1 or something like that. But you can't find them right now. And the DIY kit that I have is like $30. And it's great. So we just have to modify it.
Christian, you do stream and tell me I love it.
Okay. Oh, I thought my mic was muted, but it wasn't. Interesting. So we need to reroute our audio in our setup mode. And let's do that right now. This is coming through our F1 Mac Mini speaker. We want the audio right here. So we'll go to system preferences, and we'll go to sound, and I realize you can't hear me very well, but that's okay. The output is the USB So we only have one audio source. So time to get around the old computer screen or go for lunch. Glad you could attend today, or if perhaps you're watching the replay, welcome. So that's the nice thing about these. You can watch them anytime you want if you miss the live. But of course, when you miss the live, you miss the questions and answers. So that is always fun too. And we like to learn a few things. Now, somebody says learn 5 new things, but he has a much longer show than we do here. So we are not going to require you to learn 5 new things, but you will learn some new things here. I guarantee it. Where did I hear that phrase before? I think it was like Men's Warehouse, perhaps. So it looks like my music is not recycling itself here. But my countdown timer did recycle itself. So it's 12 noon. We're just going to jump in here and do the show. Welcome to GoFor Lunch number 31. So glad that you could be here today. We have some interesting stuff that I think will be very educational. In case you're new here, my name is Roger Harmon. I'm with GoFor Technology, where we help you master your technology, and we patiently teach you just what you want to learn. And if you don't want to know how to set up a new printer, we'll do it for you and just make it work. So this show is better for everybody if you ask questions. So in the comment, oh, thank you, Bob. He's coming in 11 hours. Boy, did I guess I didn't do that right. So thanks, Bob, for... Bob, what are you doing in my head? Get out of there. Thanks for putting that out. There are 5 waiting in that room. I've sent them the link to this one. Interesting. Okay, and thank you, Mary, for letting me know. I guess I'm not good with dates. What can I tell you? So, back to our regularly scheduled program. And we're going to talk about streaming boxes. So, as you think of questions, as we go through the explanation of what streaming boxes are and do, just put that in the comments. And we will, I don't know who we is, actually there's nobody here but me. I will stop periodically and answer those questions. So make sure and ask those questions. So let's see here, we need to reset this. Okay, just a second, there we go. And we want to go back there. Okay. Well, hi, Roger here. Thanks, Bob. I looked at my audio and it wasn't muted, and now it's muted, so this is strange. And you all told me that in the comments, which I wasn't looking at because I was trying to deliver value to you guys. So let's start over. Well, I think actually the slides that I showed you were pretty self-explanatory, because that's the way slides should be. So that was what and Ann is calling me to let me know I have no audio, but I do now. So could someone confirm that my audio is working, please? Pretty sure it is. Okay, so hi, Roger Harmon, GoFor Technology. Please ask questions. We'll be stopping intermittently to answer those questions. So we're talking about streaming boxes. The abbreviation is often STB for set-top boxes. And as you saw on the slide, you're called a cord cutter when you stop getting your content from your cable provider or other provider and get it through a streaming box. But you still need the internet to do that. So today we're going to talk about the big four plus one. Thank you, Philip. When you say I got it, I think you're meaning it is working. Thank you, Ann. So sorry about that. The best laid plans. So I guess I'll have to have two checklists. One to check the checklist, and the other the checklist. Okay. So we're going to talk about the big four in streaming. Before we do that, let's talk about what you need besides a streaming box. You need one of those big TV sets, commonly called big screens or flat screens, that have HDMI inputs, because that is how a streaming box connects to your TV. So if you have a very old TV that doesn't have HDMI inputs, this is not going to work for you. And sometimes if you have a TV that only has one or two HDMI inputs and they're both in use, we have a solution for that. We can get a HDMI switch box so we can add HDMI ports, so that's not a big deal. If you are looking at buying a new TV, which happens during the holiday season, you want to make sure that your new TV is a 4K HDR, which stands for high definition resolution. Another nice feature to have but not required would be Dolby Vision and Dolby Atmos. So Dolby Vision obviously deals with the video, Dolby Atmos deals with the audio. Not something you might use right away, but something that you might like to have in the future. So the good news is that 4 major TV manufacturers, Sony, Samsung, LG, and Vizio, have started to build the Apple TV functionality into their hardware. So you wouldn't have to buy an Apple TV set-top box because it's already built into the TV. Some more good news is that you may have bought one of these TVs in the last, say, 18 months, maybe even 2 years, and you can do a firmware upgrade to add that functionality of the Apple TV to your existing TV. Unfortunately, there's no uniform way of knowing which brands are supporting how far back, but we can certainly help you with that. And if you have a problem upgrading the firmware, we'll be there to do that with you as well. So I think we've got all the background information going on. So let's talk about Apple TV. So when you go to Apple, you will find that we are not switching to our, looks like it's there. Okay, there it is. All right. So you notice up here at the very top, you see these little icons. They're probably would be really small if you're watching this on a smartphone. but I will explain them to you. So here we have Apple TV Plus. That is a streaming service, so it's like Netflix. So that is Apple TV Plus is a streaming service. Next here we have Apple TV app. So the Apple TV app is on your iPhone, iPad, and your Mac. So you can watch content, not just from Apple, on the Apple TV app on all your Apple devices. Then we have the actual box. We have the Apple TV 4K, which obviously if you have or are planning on getting a 4K TV, you would probably like to have that one. And if you aren't planning on getting a 4K TV, you can save a few dollars and get the Apple TV High Definition or HD. So that's so this is the content here that's being scrolled by from the Apple TV Plus content service. This series right here with the guys with the two motorcycles, those are actually Harley Davidson electric motorcycles. And this is called The Long Way Up, and it's a documentary of their trip from the tip of South America to Los Angeles. So a lot of original, and this is all original content, unavailable anywhere else. You may be a fan of the Charlie Brown holiday specials, and those were bought by Apple TV. But they're showing them free, I think December 11th through the 13th, somewhere around there. Check your local listings, either on Apple TV for free or on PBS. And there's a Christmas special with Mariah Carey that's currently available. Anyway, lots of stuff. So let's look at the Apple TV 4K. So again, they are advertising their original content. This is a World War II movie starring Tom Hanks. So this is what the interface looks like. You can choose music, you can have your photos. So this is a good reason to use Apple TV over other things because it integrates so well with your we have an emergency call here, so let me see what's going on. We're back. So then you will also see below here all sorts of other streaming services. So here's what the Apple TV looks like. It's just a small box with a remote control. So you can see here that the 4K with HDR makes a big difference. We're not going to go into that in detail, but just know it's a much higher quality picture. And so the Dolby Atmos is a sound system. To make it work, you have to have additional hardware. You might have to have a audio-visual receiver and additional speakers to make that really work. So that's available if you're an audiophile. So let's see what else. So this is some of the content. This is Apple TV, but these are from other content providers. And I was hoping that there would be a list here of all these content providers. They have ESPN, and this also gives you a better look at the interface. And so you can see here they have Disney Plus, they have Netflix, they have Hulu, they have all the major content providers. And so this is a remote control. You can press the microphone button and talk to your TV using Siri. Here's some examples of some of the things you could say using Siri, and it would make those things happen on your TV. They also have the capability of doing games, and you can also use your own photos from your photo library in your Photos app as your screensaver, so that's fun. And it also will control HomeKit, which is Apple's home automation system. We'll do a separate program on that. If you'd like, let me know. And it works with Bluetooth AirPods and the HomePod, which is Apple's speaker. So here again is Apple's content. And when you buy an Apple product, except for the Apple Watch, you get a year of Apple TV for free. So if you bought an Apple product in the last, this started I think a year ago, November. And unfortunately, it's not easy to get that membership, that free membership started. So I suggest you just simply call Apple Care and let them set it up for you, because they've made it very difficult to do. So again, you get all your content, whether it's from Apple or other people, in one place. So let's see here. Do we have any questions about? Hi, Julie or Judy and Barbara. And okay, glad that you all could come. So let's talk about Roku. So Roku is actually the most popular streaming box, basically because it costs less than Apple TV, and it covers lots of different platforms, but it does actually have an Apple TV functionality built into it now. So as you can see, there's several different models of Roku. This is the least expensive, the Roku Express, which I think this is a holiday special price of $21.99. So that would be if you just want the basic principles and you don't want to, you're not interested in a 4K TV, you can just get that basic one. So let's look at all the different ones. While we're right here, let me mention, and several of you have these, you can buy a TV with Roku built in. So make sure you don't already have Roku built into your TV. So here are the different Roku players and a little comparison. I would recommend, if you want to have kind of be future-proofed, that you would get the Ultra, which is right here. So here's the Ultra, and that covers you with high definition, 4K, HDR, and Dolby Vision. It's $99. And another advantage of the Ultra is that it has a headphone jack. So if there's one of you in the family that's hard of hearing, they could plug into the headphone jack here. You could actually put a splitter on there if you're both hard of hearing, and you could probably drive 2 sets of earbuds off of this Roku Ultra. So let's move on to Amazon Fire TV Stick. So as you can see, it has a remote, and then it has this little device with an HDMI connector on the end that you plug directly into the back of your TV, into one of your available HDMI ports. This is the brand new one, so you have to be careful that because there's old ones still in the market, so you have to be careful to make sure you're getting the new one. Right now it's $30. Frequently goes on sale. That's a sale price. So they also have a bunch of different versions of that, as you can see here. So they have one that's even less expensive. You might want to use this for like a guest room or a second TV in your house. This is the the current one, and then I would, again, if you have a 4K TV now or one in your future, you would definitely want to get the 4K version. And then the Apple TV Cube basically has the functionality of the Amazon Echo built in. So with these, in order to do voice control, in some respects you need to have an external Amazon Echo device. But with the Fire Cube, you don't. So that is an advantage. Of course, it's quite a bit more money. It's $100 as compared to $40. So you might want to take that into consideration. And as you can see down here in the picture quality section, it basically does the same things as the $40 Fire TV stick, except for the voice control. And these will work with Alexa, but again, you have to have, well, I guess you don't have to have Alexa with this, so you can use it on the remote. But with this one, you don't need the remote. You just shout out, "Hey lady, turn on the TV," to whatever program you want it to have. So that is the Amazon Fire TV. Now, let's look at Google TV. Now you can see here a list of content providers: Netflix, Disney, HBO Max, YouTube, Peacock, which is NBC, Sling, Prime, which is Amazon, and YouTube TV, which is a paid service. All these things are on all of these different streaming boxes. So there might be one or two. I think HBO Max has been negotiating with a couple of these, but I think they're on everything at this point. So this is Google's answer to a streaming box. Now, one of the advantages of Google, of course, remember we're talking about Google here, and as you know, with Google, you're the product, so they're going to be scraping your viewing data probably. So that's one thing to consider. But a nice thing about Google TV, should you decide to go that way, is you can subscribe to these different services like Netflix and Hulu and Disney Plus right at the Google TV, the Google TV app. So you can get them a la carte basically. So you can just pick and choose what you want, and unlike your cable TV package, you don't have to get a bunch of stuff that you don't want. So they do suggestions based on your viewing. Again, this is a voice command: show me some funny movies. And you can create movie nights. It has an iOS interface, and it has soccer, and it has lots of features. And I'm trying to find a picture of the remote control. Look at that. So this is the dongle that you, again, connect to an HDMI port on the back or side of your flat screen TV. And this is the remote control. So it has a nice little remote. Now in the description below, I put a link underneath the Apple TV link for a silicone case that will, most of these, all these I think have a silicone case on Amazon for every different brand. I suggest the silicone case for several reasons. Number one, especially on the Apple TV, sometimes you can pick it up because it's got equal blank spaces on the top and the bottom. So with the silicone case, it covers the bottom, so you know that's not your touch screen area or your trackpad area. So I recommend also with one of those silicone cases is getting a lanyard like this lanyard, and that way it has a tail, and so it's easier to find when it disappears into the couch in your living room. Plus, I would also recommend getting a bright color like a red or a yellow silicone case. so that it's easy to find. So Google TV is a contender. I believe the cost is $50, and that's pretty new to the market. So we've talked about the big four, and I want to mention that there is one other option that you may have heard of, and that is, the generic name is Android TV. So I have tested Android TV, and this is the company that I think does the best job, called SkyStream. SkyStream. Ice cream, never mind. Again, they're having a sale, $25 off. And the way Android TV works is it has apps. It obviously is in the Android, so it has the same computer in it as an Android phone. So it uses that computer to go out and find sites on the internet that provide free TV. It will also work with Netflix and Amazon Prime and Hulu and Disney Plus, and I don't think it'll work with Apple Plus at this point. So that is another option. Now, this is not a plug and play option. You have to work hard to find the content for free on Android TV, because it keeps changing. It's a moving target. So if you're kind of a do-it-yourselfer and you like to play with things, then you might be interested in Android TV, because it does theoretically provide a lot of content for free. So you can see you can get all these apps, which of course you have to pay for, except for YouTube. I just saw a question there about, can you get news? Well, here's CNN and all the NBC, ABC, MSNBC, CBS. They all have Fox. They all have news apps that are available on most, if not all, of these streaming boxes. So here's the user interface for the SkyStream, and they've done a pretty nice job of upgrading this over the years. But it's a continual cat and mouse game, because some of these free streaming services are in kind of a gray area, you might say. So they're continually changing. So I don't recommend the Android TV solution for the faint of heart. So that is pretty much our roundup of streaming boxes. So this would be a good time to ask any questions. And while you're doing that, please remember to subscribe. And if you haven't already, ring the little bell next to the subscribe so you get notified no matter when I go online. So I'm sorry that I obviously missed the AM PM on the setup time. So another thing to check on my checklist. So thank you for everybody that helped me realize that was a problem. But as always, you can see these on our YouTube channel. And where do you find the YouTube channel? You look in the GoFor Gazette, which comes out at 7 o'clock every Monday morning. And I would really appreciate it if you would forward that GoFor Gazette to your friends and neighbors and relatives that have Mac products, so we can help more people. So let's remember that I do come to you in person, have Mask Will Travel. We also do screen shares, which usually work, so we can support you in several different ways. So let's remember that all of the links of everything that I showed you here today, and one thing I didn't, are in the description and on the YouTube video. So let's see what we have here. What is your question? We have the original control on the Apple TV. So, Phil, or Phyllis, what's your question? Yes. So, Phil and Phyllis ask, so I'm assuming you have an Apple TV and you have an older model. So we're in I think the 5th generation of Apple TV. So obviously, when they make newer ones, they add features. So you won't get the 4K, you won't get the Dolby video and sound enhancements. So, but as I mentioned before, maybe you didn't hear me when I mentioned this, so I'll mention it now. There are rumors that there is a new Apple TV coming out, RSN, which stands for real soon now. So thanks, Davises, for clarifying that. So what does that mean? That means maybe you should not buy an Apple TV for another month or two. Now, I thought that maybe it was coming out today. There was a press release today from Apple, but it was for a new, they call it AirPod Maxes. They're over-the-ear headphones. That was just announced this morning. So I was hoping that announcement, which I knew there was an announcement, I didn't know what was going to be announced, was going to be the Apple TV, but it was not. So wait before you buy an Apple TV. And again, if you have multiple TVs in your house, you might want to, start out with the Roku or with a Fire Stick, and then save the for your main TV in the living room or family room. Then you could wait for the Apple TV. So again, you can get your Netflix and different things there. So thank you, Davis. So they're giving you a plug for Apple TV Plus, Apple's streaming service, for the program called Ted Lasso, which is really a very good program. I really enjoyed it. It's finished one season, but you can watch all the first season, and it has been signed for a second season, so it will be back. So basically, it's about an American, I think he's either college or high school football coach, that gets hired to be a soccer coach in the UK. And it is hilarious, as you can imagine. So a lot of great original content on Apple TV Plus, but you can get that on your iPhone, iPad, and your Mac. So you don't, and of course you can connect your iPhone, iPad, or your Mac directly to your flat screen TV with an available HDMI input and the proper cable. So there's ways to see that content without one of these streaming boxes. So basically two ways: either have a cable and use your Apple TV app, or get a TV that has Apple TV built in. So I know that's kind of confusing, but that's the way it is. So unless you have any other questions, I thank you for joining us live. Again, all these programs are archived on our YouTube page, so you can go there and play them back and get the links at your leisure. So have a great rest of your Tuesday. I will be back here next Tuesday at noon. Hopefully I'll have the announcement correct. But we got 11 of you that figured it out with some help from others of you, and I appreciate all the teamwork that went into getting everybody here. So thanks a lot, and take care.